There once was a man named Elias who lived at the edge of a forgotten town where the streets always smelled faintly of rain and the houses leaned together like tired old men. Elias had once been a joyful soul, a craftsman who built music boxes, each filled with songs of laughter and love. But all that changed the day he lost Amara, his beloved wife. The sickness had come swiftly, stealing her breath before the doctors even knew what to call it. In a single winter, Elias's world collapsed into silence. The house they had built together now stood cold and hollow, its halls echoing only the creaks of empty floorboards and the whisper of the wind. Every night, Elias sat by the cracked window, staring out at the hills, listening to the soft tick of unfinished music boxes gathering dust around him. He spoke to the darkness, wishing, begging, for just one more chance to hear Amara's voice. It was on one of these nights, a night where the sky wept cold rain, that Elias ventured into the town square. The world seemed dreamlike. The gas lamps hissed and flickered, casting trembling shadows. The streets were deserted, all but for a small figure huddled near the old well. An old woman, cloaked in a patchwork shawl, her face carved with the deep lines of countless winters. She smiled when she saw Elias, as if she had been waiting for him. Without a word, she extended her hand. In her palm sat a candle, no larger than a teacup, its wax shimmering in colors Elias couldn't quite name, colors that seemed to exist only in forgotten dreams. He hesitated, but something in her eyes, something ancient and sorrowful, urged him forward. Her voice was no louder than the falling rain when she finally spoke. "Light it only when your heart calls true. But remember, every flame casts a shadow." Before Elias could ask anything more, she vanished into the mist, leaving behind only the soft scent of lavender and old wood. He returned home with the candle clutched tightly to his chest, feeling like a man holding a heartbeat that wasn't his own. That night, the world outside his window churned with thunder and lightning. Inside, Elias sat at his kitchen table, staring at the candle. His hands shook as he struck a match. The moment the flame touched the wick, the candle flared to life, not a simple yellow light, but a golden blaze that filled the room with warmth. And something more. Out of the flickering light, a figure began to form, a figure he knew better than his own heartbeat. Amara. Her hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, her eyes shimmered with the same mischievous glint he had fallen in love with. She smiled, and the sound of his name on her lips shattered him. "Elias," she whispered. He ran to her sobbing, touching her face, feeling her solid, warm skin beneath his fingers. He buried his face against her, laughing and crying all at once, hardly daring to believe. They spent the night talking, wrapped in each other's arms, as if the past year had been nothing but a bad dream. For a time, it was perfect. But soon, little things began to fray the illusion. Amara sometimes forgot memories they had once shared. She would hum songs he didn't recognize, her voice lilting in strange, broken melodies. Some days, Elias would find her staring at the wall for hours, unmoving, her lips silently moving, as if speaking to someone he could not see. And sometimes, at night, he would wake to find her standing at the window, whispering in a tongue that raised the hairs on his neck. Still, Elias clung to her, too afraid to question, too desperate to let her go again. One evening, as the sun bled red across the hills, Elias noticed the candle once more. It still burned steadily, untouched by time. The wax had not melted, not even a drip. But there was something else now. A scrap of parchment had appeared beneath it, its edges blackened as if burned from within. It bore a single line: "The longer the flame burns, the stronger the shadow becomes." Elias's hands trembled as he read it. He looked up, and in the fading light he saw Amara's reflection in the window. But it wasn't moving with her. It grinned when she did not. It blinked when she stood still. Panic rose in Elias's chest. He stumbled back, knocking over a chair. Amara turned to him then, her smile soft and loving. But behind her eyes he saw something else, something watching him from beyond the veil of her flesh. That night the house grew cold despite the candle's bright flame. Elias tried to blow it out, but the flame danced and fought him, refusing to die. Amara watched silently from the doorway, her eyes hollow pools of endless night. "Why would you want to lose me again?" she whispered, voice like silk over a blade. Tears streamed down Elias's face. "Because you're not her," he choked out. "You're only a memory wearing her skin." At that, Amara's smile cracked, a fissure that split into a grin, too wide, too wrong. The shadows in the corners of the room lengthened, stretching toward him like fingers. The candle's flame flared, casting monstrous shapes on the walls, shapes that moved when they shouldn't. Elias ran. He didn't stop to think. He grabbed the candle. It burned cold and searing at once, and fled into the storm outside. The night swallowed him whole as he sprinted towards the old well in the town square, heart pounding like a war drum. There, under the dying gaze of the gas lamps, the old woman waited once more. "You must return it," she said, her voice now sharp and fierce, "or be consumed by what you have called forth." Elias hesitated, looking down at the candle. Inside the flame he saw Amara's face, pleading, crying out his name. It shattered what little strength he had left. With a scream torn from the depths of his soul, he hurled the candle into the old well. The ground trembled. A roar, not of thunder, but something far deeper, older, rose from the earth as the candle fell into darkness. The flame was snuffed out, and with it, Amara's voice faded, like a song lost to the wind. Elias collapsed by the well, exhausted, broken. When he awoke, the storm had passed. The world was still. He returned to his empty home, now truly empty, and for the first time in a long while, he sat by the window without wishing for the impossible. He would grieve, he would heal, he would remember her as she had been, not as the shadow he had nearly unleashed, and somewhere, deep in the folds of the mist, the old woman watched, and waited for the next soul desperate enough to trade sorrow, for something far worse.